What's going on, everybody?
Don't you steal my line.
Eat the rich! Eat the rich!
The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the members' best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Bi-Weekly Grievance. This week we have Dave Allen and Greg Kerwood on. All three of us just returned to our homes from Chicago, where we attended the TDU conference, the Teamsters for Democratic Union. A fun solidarity weekend, rubbing elbows with some higher-ups in the Teamsters, classes on teaching us stuff. Dave, what attracted you to the Teamsters for Democratic Union Conference? What is your motivations for going?
Well, so I went last year. I had a good time. Went to a lot of the workshops and everything. You know, first time going there, you kind of feel it out, see what you like, what you don't like. I feel like, as funny as it is, this might be a slightly divisive episode. There are some people that really don't like TDU, and it's either maybe somebody told them it was the devil, or maybe they just had a bad experience. I don't know. But I go there because I love the vibe. I love talking to other activists. I love, hanging out with you guys. It's always fun. I have a blast. There's also something else. So when you sign up, you get one of these, right? And this thing's actually really important to me for a few reasons. One being, it shows what local you're out of, so you can connect with other activists within your own local. We had 10 people come out, and believe it or not, there was 4 or 5 of them I've never met before. So that is very important. On top of it, you can also find other people on your same supplement. Maybe you get stuck with a question. Maybe you don't know. Nobody has the answers to everything, right? So finding other activists in your supplement, and these are some really sharp people, can necessarily help you get through dealing with questions you don't have the answers to, or, it's good to bounce off and have that network. And so this is a really, really great place to make networking. And I would advise anybody, if you haven't done it, to at least try it once and see what you like about it, what you don't like about it. Maybe you'll love everything. The workshops are great. Greg hosted one of the workshops, did a great job. And, maybe you like the speakers, but there's also, it is my weekend and I like to enjoy it. So I usually take some Teamsters and we go out to Chicago and have a great time out there too. So I had a blast. I would definitely do it again.
Yeah, I mean, your point is valid in the sense that some people go for the educational part of it, some people go out for the social part of it, and some people definitely go out there for networking of Teamsters. Greg, not only being the knowledgeable guy that we all know, he also sat on the steering committee for TDU and actually was reelected at this conference to partake on that in the next year also. Greg, congratulations on your reelection to the ISC. You actually hosted and helped teach a class on Saturday about enforcing the new UPS contract. Tell us a little bit about the background of being on the steering committee and what goes into these conferences. And in particular, maybe if you could tell us a little bit about what you talked about in your class this year.
Sure. Thank you for the congratulations. It's an honor to be on that committee. There's a lot of fantastic people on there, and it's sort of humbling to be considered one of that group. As far as what the ISC does, we meet 4 times a year and sort of do what's in the name. We steer TDU in whatever direction we decide as a majority it should go. That can involve where to spend money, who to hire, what classes we want to do online, also organizing and building the convention, the logistics of that, where we'll have it, how much it will be, and just sort of general running of the organization on a higher level. The organizers that work for TDU, do all the work on a daily basis. As far as putting the convention together, it's a huge amount of work. Mostly done by the TDU staff organizers who do a phenomenal job and probably an underappreciated job, with a lot of input from those of us on the committee and activists off the committee, depending on your specialty and what you know. We have a lot of fantastic seminars, some which we've done repeatedly year after year because of their popularity and their importance. Things like Just Cause, Rights of Stewards, a lot of UPS ones, depending on the time. Last year, we did a lot of stuff on the upcoming contract. This year, I had the good fortune of doing one on enforcing the contract with several other members, teaching people what the new language is and some of the best ways to enforce it, how to write the grievances, which way to attack things, which I thought went very well. I hope it did. It's hard to say sometimes when you're up front, what people are getting out of it. But just to tack on what Dave said, it's the conference itself is what it is in a black and white sort of concrete way. But I think you'll agree too that just being there, surrounded by all of those folks who are of a like-minded mindset, that they want to improve things and be active and fight for workers, is really what does it for me. It just, that atmosphere is fantastic. And, the connections with people that you make, and just, in the classes or out of the classes or after the classes or at night or in the bar or wherever, it's just a nonstop. It's almost, it's exhausting just because you're running on a high sort of the entire weekend. So as David said, it's a phenomenal experience, and I would advise anybody to at least give it a try once.
So my experience, last year was my first TDU conference. This was my second. And one of the things that I want to stress to people is, like, from the moment you get off the plane, you just see a swarm of Teamster paraphernalia. Like, you immediately know who's who. Immediately you feel the embrace of people. They start talking to you, asking you what local you're from. I highly encourage members, because you hear this a lot from members, that, oh, my local doesn't believe in TDU. My local doesn't do anything. Well, I come from a local that's not enthusiastic about TDU. And I learned about TDU and joined TDU because the wealth of information that you can obtain from this thing, because it's not just about a once-a-year conference. The Zoom meetings and teachings that you guys have online are phenomenal. You guys keep people up to date. You guys hand out information about your rights as a union member, how to establish who your support group is in your area. There's so much knowledge that you just, the IBT has not been great with that over the last 25 years. I feel like that's slowly going to change a little bit with Shawn in office, but as having TDU as a separate organization and that wealth of knowledge is unbelievable. They have classes ranging from where we've been, where we're headed. They have grievance stuff. They have disciplinary grievances. The secret to organizing, your rights under the STAA, which is important to a lot of the feeder guys and trucking industry guys. It's a wealth of information, and you guys can't overstate it enough that the camaraderie of brothers and sisters at this thing is overwhelming. When the conference shuts down, You know, we have a couple hours off. Then we have a dinner portion. We've had speakers from Sean O'Brien. This year we had Shawn Fain from the UAW, fresh off his 3 tentative agreements with the big three automakers. He even stayed afterwards, hung out with us, socialized with us. He's a fantastic person. The energy, like if you want to feel like the union has a camaraderie, I challenge you to go to one of these conferences, because I guarantee you your union batteries will be at full charge when you leave there. It's an unbelievable feeling. If you could look back, Greg, what was your initial impact, and how long ago did you become a part of TDU? And do you remember what that was like, being your first time at a conference?
Yeah, this is my third one. I joined TDU about maybe 4 years ago. I was on some of the online. They did the convention online the prior year because of COVID. I took a lot of those Zoom classes. I found them to be incredibly well put together and informative. And, as I've said many times, where I come from, you put your money where your mouth is and you pay for what you get. And so if you're going to take the knowledge and take advantage of the classes, you should do your part to fund them. So I joined TDU. And then when the convention went back live and in person 3 years ago, I made a point to attend. It was suggested I should run for the ISC, but that first, I'm sure and David does as well, that first time, as you said, you get off the plane. I think my first time I got off the plane and I got on the shuttle, and there was already, two young Teamsters from California who were over the moon to be there. There's people from all over. There were people that I knew from online standing outside the door. There were a couple of young kids from 251 in Rhode Island when I first walked in. Like I can visualize it as I was doing it, like it was yesterday. But it just, it's not a vibe that I've experienced anywhere else. It's not an atmosphere. It's just there's a shared goal that everyone in there has that just sort of bleeds into everything. And everyone, like you said, is open and friendly and wants to talk and wants to listen. And everybody's there to learn from one another and make connections with one another. I have probably hundreds of people that I've met at that convention at this point. Like David said, if you want to network and get in touch with people in your area or around the country or whatever, there's no better place to do it. But it's difficult to describe accurately what it feels like to be in that atmosphere. But it is definitely something you want to experience, no question.
Absolutely. Now, in the spirit of you guys being on the biweekly grievance for the first time, I'd like to steal a segment from Dave's show, Shoutouts. So, Dave, in the spirit of your show, give me a shout out about the conference that you want to talk about.
Well, this isn't so much of a shout out, but it's make someone well aware of something. So if you do not know, Labor Notes is coming up in April of next year. So if the TDU conference sounds appealing to you, Labor Notes is very similar to that. It is all the unions into one hotel, and it's massive. It's like TDU on steroids, and they do workshops and similar vibe actually. But I will be there. Greg will be there. Dan, I don't know if you're coming out. Oh,
I'll be there.
Right, we're all going to be there. So definitely check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely like the TDU conference was 500 this year, which was a record number for us. But my understanding is Labor Notes is closer to 5,000. So it's enormous. Greg, your turn. You got a shout out?
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to, I went to several seminars, but I think by far my favorite one was on the last day. It was a mock UPS panel hearing. Josh Pomerantz from 804 ran it. David Thornsbury from Local 89 was fantastic. We had a couple of young folks that agreed to step up and act as the business agents putting on the case. It came in cold and really did a fantastic job. Willie Ford acted as the arbitrator. But it was, having been to several panels myself, it was completely on point, and it was really something that I wish every UPS employee and member could be exposed to, just to see how that process works. And that's the type of stuff that you're not going to find anywhere else. And that's what we do at TDU. That's the type of education we provide, stuff for people that just started and stuff for, old farts like myself, who, maybe know a lot, but still don't know everything. And so there's something there for everybody. And so my shout out goes to those guys. It was fantastic to sit in on. It really was.
And my shout out's going to be out to the International Steering Committee, the ISC, that Greg sits on. Listen, this is my second conference, and it is so well done. The energy, the information, the classes, the featured speaker. Last year we had Fred and Shawn both there. This year we had Shawn Fain on Saturday night. He was such a personable person. He was the energy level in the room was ecstatic with the "Eat the Rich" chant, and it was just, he was so humble for a guy who just pulled off one of the best strikes in recent history with the three big automakers. And the ISC does such a phenomenal job with making sure that people know where they're going. The brochure, it pushes people in the right direction. They're out in the hallways. They're talking to people. They're the rank and file that helped put on this thing, and it was a phenomenal thing. I appreciate all of your guys' efforts. We have a great committee for the following year coming up, and some new faces, some old faces. And what I will say too about this conference is, and this is one of the things, is there are some brand new Teamsters that have no idea what they're doing there, and they're just this sponge absorbing this knowledge. And then you have some people who were part of the original TDU and have been there the whole time, and you can feel that balance. You just have to look around and you can tell who is a fixture in that place and who is new in that place. But the experience is wild on all levels, and I'm sure even the old timers look at all these young guys and are inspired by them as well. So it was a great conference. I appreciate your time, guys. My batteries are full and ready to charge and ready to fight. And I am dying to go to my first Labor Notes conference this spring. I believe it's in April. I will promote it on another show for you guys. But Dave, thank you for coming by. Greg, thanks for coming on. You guys always do a great job on the Roswell Hub. I mean, Dave, it's your show and you occasionally appear, Greg, but you do both do a fantastic job. You're great friends, and I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on, guys.
You got it, brother. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Brothers and sisters, I can't thank Dave and Greg enough for coming on the show. It was a lot of fun in Chicago. They're both a wealth of knowledge. Dave Allen does a phenomenal job with his show, Roswell Hub. Lots of very short, quick videos covering a wide range of topics on UPS. Fantastic page. Check it out. Also, you have Greg Kerwood, one of the most notable assets that I have come across. He is such a knowledgeable person in many areas. He runs a couple of Facebook pages, UPS Teamsters 401k resource page, phenomenal group. If you're looking to set up your 401k, your Roth, or balancing out your assets, he gives plenty of knowledge. He does a lot of live shows with that. And he's definitely somebody you can reach out to, and he'd be more than happy to help you. He also runs the UPS Teamsters 2023 contract enforcement page. And that group started off as a proposal page. Then it went over to tentative agreement and is now into the enforcement stage. Wealth knowledge of stuff. He did a very good job with going over the tentative agreement language, and now ideas on how to enforce certain things. People bring up things that are happening in their building. Some buildings still having trouble with the six punch language, and it's a great resource. So please check that out as well. They're a vast knowledge, and I appreciate them very much. I just want to touch on the TDU stuff. As Dave Allen said, this may be a divisive episode. I say not. I think that TDU at one point was seen as the black sheep. Hoffa definitely did not appreciate TDU. And I'm sure some of you are well aware that for the longest time, Shawn O'Brien was not a fan of TDU. But times are changing. We have new leadership in the IBT who are looking to be more militant and to hold these companies accountable. And Shawn has linked up with IBT. Shawn has linked up with TDU. And not only was he a candidate backed by TDU, but Shawn is the first president since the last 25 years, or maybe even before that, to attend a TDU convention. This year was the second year that Shawn came and spoke to the membership. He is a very motivational leader. He is the icon of Teamsters. Like, he is the figure everybody looks to and has inspired a lot of people. He not only gives a motivating speech, but he stays afterwards, gives everybody the time of day to get a picture, a few minutes to chat with him. He listens, he remembers. He is phenomenal both years I've seen him there. I missed Fred this year. Fred was there last year. He was also very good last year. But this year they got Lindsay Doherty in the middle of her struggles with the Actors Guild. She made time to come out. Again, very motivational speaker. She got the crowd raging in the dinner. It was great. And again, she stayed afterwards, chit-chatted, took pictures. She's a phenomenal leader, and I'm sure her members adore her. Then on Saturday night, we had Shawn Fain, as I spoke in the thing. Awesome time. He stayed afterwards, socialized with us. Very humble for a man who just pulled off what he did. But I just want people to understand that TDU has helped get rid of a lot of old guard. If your local is a do-nothing local, or a local that people, constantly say, I wish they did more, they're probably not TDU affiliated. You look at 804 in New York, you look at 251 in Rhode Island, you look at 135, Dustin Roach, you can tell some of the most powerful locals in this country, they have one thing in common, and they are affiliated with TDU. Are there because they want to educate their members. And that is the mission of TDU. That's what people don't understand about TDU, or have been misled about TDU, is TDU does a phenomenal job. I guarantee you, I challenge you, if you're a person that's saying, baloney, TDU's this, TDU's that, listen, keep an open mind, and I dare you to look at your locals page, look at the IBT page, and then go look at TDU page. They all have their place, but one thing TDU has that is unequivocally different is the vast knowledge and resources available at your fingertips, whether you're a member or not. TDU does a phenomenal job with all their workshops, teaching stuff. They're helping replace old guard with new future leaders who are fighting hard for members. The seminars that they give at this thing, they have classes. Again, I mentioned some of them: disciplinary stuff, secret to organizing, enforcing your rights, meetings where you can sit down with actual leadership from across the country and ask them questions, roundtable discussions. There are a good place to meet up with. There's different caucuses I actually covered in my first episode on the biweekly grievance. They have the Women's Caucus, Railroad Teamster. They have a Grocery Warehouse. They have Black Caucus, Latino Caucus. It's a good place if you belong to some of those groups to come and actually meet some members from that caucus and have a face-to-face with them. They have luncheons with a lot of those groups. They even have classes on how to run for local office. If you are in a local where you don't feel like they're doing anything for you and you feel like getting involved in helping your local change, go to TDU, become a member. I'm telling you, the knowledge you will get from this organization is unbelievable. It has changed my life. I went from being an activist that couldn't say a lot of things to an activist that became vastly more knowledgeable because of my affiliation with TDU. And I'll have that discussion with any person that says that they're not. They are a fantastic organization. I think they got a bad rap under the Hoffa administration because Hoffa didn't like that they criticized things. But that's my 2 cents. Hell of a convention. I recommend it fully. I believe in it so much, okay, that this year they have a fundraiser on Saturday night after the dinner, and it helps funds a lot of what TDU does and all the memberships. I went there with the intent of donating $404, $404 to represent my local 404, and the hopes that one day I can turn our local around and give the members a local that they deserve. A local that fights for them, a local that knows their rights, stands up for them, educates them, and motivates them, and empowers the brother and sisterhood that local unions should have. But I was so inspired by what happened this weekend that I ended up adding to that 404 donation to include also the upfront 404 plus $50 a month for a grand total of $1,004 that I will be donating to TDU. That's how much I believe in it. It's absolutely incredible. I challenge you to check it out. The classes, the caucuses, they even have support groups. Like if you happen to be a member that has struggles, prior addictions, they even have recovery groups on Saturday and Sunday morning so that if you feel like you need support while you're there, there's a group there. They think of everything. It's unbelievable. Labor notes, again, it's, as Dave said, it's TDU on steroids. I mean, TDU is limited because it's strictly for Teamsters. But labor notes is just so much bigger because it includes all labor unions. It's unbelievable. Last but not least, I reached out to a member, Marlon Russo. This was his first convention this year. He's a passionate Teamster, and I said to him, hey, any chance you could just send me a video with your initial impression of your first time at a TDU convention? So I leave you with this. Consider going to a TDU convention, even once. Just check it out. I guarantee you'll be addicted. You'll be back. There's many things you can get out of it. You don't have to love TDU if that's your thing. But I guarantee you can't walk out of that conference say you don't know more than when you went in. And you certainly can't walk out of there feeling like you don't have more camaraderie or networking with Teamsters across this country, because it does all of that and more. I can't say enough. I don't normally wear hats on the show, but I have to do a little self-promoting for my son. He is a 4th grader and plays Pee Wee football. And unfortunately, I missed his playoff game. They had a first-round bye the weekend I was home. They played their playoff game while I was in Chicago at this conference this last weekend. They unbelievably won 18-6, and they will be playing this coming weekend in Pee Wee Super Bowl. I'm ecstatic for the team. Go Spartans. I love you, buddy. James, you're a hell of a player, and you've come a long way this year. I wish you guys the best, and Dad will be there to cheer you on. Brothers and sisters, if you could leave a little note for my son and wish him good luck in his upcoming game, I'm sure he would love it. Brothers and sisters, solidarity forever. Here's Marlon.
Hello, brothers and sisters. My name is Marlon Russo. I'm out of Local 177 in New Jersey. Proud Teamster for 31 years. Actual package car driver for 24. I want to thank my brother Danny Arlin for letting me speak to you about my experience my first TDU convention. I'm like I said before, I'm a first timer, so I wasn't exactly sure what to expect. Just that I was going to meet some great people with the same goals as mine, trying to be a better Teamster, militant, helpful, try to nurture our young. I must say that the whole TDU convention was amazing. I didn't know what to expect, really. But thanks to a couple of brothers from local 804 in New York, Easy, Ismail Bonjour, and Johnny Morales, that took me under their wing. They showed me the ropes and, took me around, and I didn't feel left out or anything. It was very helpful to have them guide me through this process. The biggest things that I took from this convention were the workshops. Workshops were very broad and varied, so you could pick whatever you wanted to learn, whichever one you wanted to attend, depending on your needs. If you want to become a union officer or just somebody to be involved and help other brothers and sisters. If you just want to be a helper, an activist, whatever you want it to be, there was, a workshop for you there. I got a few highlights. There is, like I said, a lot of things that happen over there, amazing. But since this is my experience, I'm gonna talk about my major takeaways. Of course, the speakers. I don't know how they will ever top this year's convention. Having our IBT president, SOB, Shawn O'Brien, having Lindsay Dougherty take out of her busy schedule to attend and talk to us, even while she's going through her own fight with the Actors Guild. And probably my favorite this year, I'm sorry, Shawn, but was Shawn Fain. Again, multiple speakers that come to mind: Daniel Vincente, Donnie Edwards, Corey Levesque. This is just amazing Teamsters working together to, for the same goal. Besides the education aspect of the convention, I must say the lasting bonds that and connections to Teamsters from all over the country and different crafts. Having that connection and that friendship, that brotherhood, that you were able to, call upon moment's notice for help. Everybody was so helpful, so knowledgeable. I can't wait for next year. I wasn't sure if this was going to be a one-time thing, but coming out of it, I really don't see myself not attending from here on end. Love you all. Solidarity. Have a great night.